Live stream. I really wanted to do a live stream, and I was kind of feeling a little tired, so I'll talk until the coffee's gone, or I run out of energy, or people to watch me. I was looking for my little tripod, and I don't see it anywhere. I must have brought it home. Oops, hold on. Hayden. Yeah, I must have brought that little tripod home. That's too bad. Hey, random live stream. Just wanted to say hi, really. I've got a lot that we can talk about. Rainy New York, it was nice out here, Raymond. I hear we're gonna get some rain tomorrow. Hey Jennifer, I'm doing okay. Had a rough day today. It was kind of funny. Let me go find a place where I can kind of sit down. I'll explain my day. It all started same as any other day. I got up about 7, and I was getting ready for work. I'm working from home, but I still kind of, get ready, get some coffee, whatever. And I logged onto my computer, and I kind of noticed like nobody's online. I'm like, what is going on? I can't be the only person working today. So I started texting the people I work with, and I'm like, where is everybody? And she was like, really? I go, what? She's like, it's Columbus Day. And I was like, oh. I didn't realize that. Yeah, it is a holiday. Yeah, I figured the bathroom might be a good place to sit down, and then I've got like a lot of furniture in here so I can set the camera up on an even, steady tripod. Not every employee works. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty dedicated, Odin. I worked for only like 30 minutes though before I texted somebody, and the minute she told me that it was a holiday, I instantly logged off. It was, free work over. I don't even know how to start with all the changes that happened in the last couple of days. I'm editing the video for next week, and I'm talking to Sarah. I'm like, it's really hard to like put all the information into one video. I'm up to like a 40-minute video, and I've got to edit it down. I know in the last video that most of you just watched, because I uploaded it on Friday, I talked quite extensively about the shaper table. And I think from when that video was edited and completed, which was probably Wednesday of the prior week, a lot happened, and Sarah and I had a lot of conversations about that shaper table. And I think, long story long, we decided to get rid of the shaper table. I didn't want to edit the video differently because it was already done. But yeah, we decided to sell the shaper table, and I listed it on Facebook, and it sold the very next day. So yeah, shaper table is no longer with us. We'll have a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. I don't miss the shaper table though. As I said in the video, as you saw, it scared the bejesus out of me. I mean, even with like a little cutter, yeah, yeah. So I am gonna get an equally scary machine probably. Well, I shouldn't say that. The reason why we're getting a different machine is because it's just seemingly safer. It's called a molder. And we're gonna go with a company called ShopFox. I think Grizzly makes them. And they make a specific machine that makes molding. And it really looks and acts like a planer, in the sense that once you have it all set in and dialed in, and you put your pieces of wood into it, it feeds automatically, it cuts your profile, and then comes out the other side. And it doesn't get any easier than that. And to justify the purchase, because that shaper table you know, I got a great deal on it. So it was just a shame not to use it. But we sold it. We sold the shaper table for $600, which, if you remember, I paid $1,000 for all of those shop tools. That's how good of a deal that was, by the way. So anyways, I sold the shaper, and then I sold my trailer also yesterday. That needed a lot of work. I don't miss it at all. I hardly ever use it. So anyways, selling those two items, I now have the money to where I can buy the molder and not like beat myself up over it, because the molder is a $1,500 machine. And that's what I wanted to, you know, if anybody out there, if you know, am I saving money by making my own molding? Because at this point, I don't feel like I am at all. And I know that, like, I'll be able to make the molding whatever we want. Like, I'll be able to copy this weird, funky thing that I came up with if I want to, which is cool. Like, I love being able to custom make stuff. But I don't feel like I'm saving money at this point, making all my molding. I've never bought molding, though. If you spend too much time on it, I would say no. Well, the time doesn't matter too much. I don't pay myself anything, Odin. I can't rent a machine. There's no place around here that does that. Yeah, I'm going to be making all my molding. Door molding, window molding, baseboard, a chair rail probably. Yes, that's a good point, Chris. A side business. I am thinking I'll make molding on the side. And that's another good point. Sell it when you're done. Yes, those are my two things that I'm thinking of now. Is like, I might make molding on the side when I'm done, and then two, if you just sell the machine for $1,200, well then you really only paid $400 to use it. It's sort of like renting it. But anyways, has anybody ever purchased molding? Like, how much do you pay for a really nice hardwood detailed molding, like a baseboard? Is it so much per foot? Like, because think about this. I mean, some people get uncomfortable when I talk about, I gotta mute my family chat. Some people get uncomfortable when I talk about money, but just, you know, hey, renovating houses costs money. So all that lumber, I got a great deal on it, but that was like $2,000 in lumber. And now the tools that I'm buying, I got to get a planer and a molder. Well, you don't have to have a molder, but I'm getting a molder. And then all the other tools I bought, but that was a good deal too, you know, $1,000. But like, when you add all that up together, it's like, man, you can buy a lot of molding. It is by the foot. I'm going to read in the Netherlands. Oh, it's too expensive. I have been told $185 for 28 foot. Wow. Wow. Okay. Maybe I am saving money, because I have a lot of foot to cover. It is ridiculous. Okay. Well, maybe I feel better, because I got to be honest, I haven't purchased the molder or the planer or anything yet. I hate pulling the trigger on purchases like that. Sarah and I, we don't really, like, before this house, we don't really spend a lot of money in I don't know. We're not like, we don't not spend money, I should say that, but it's just hard for us to kind of like buy stuff sometimes. More her than me. I used to be really bad. Oh my God. Before Sarah and I got together, which was many years ago now, I had something like, you know, before I was 25 years old, I owned basically like 30 different vehicles. And it sounds so bad when I say it out loud, but I've changed a lot since then. Hardwood quarter round, just quarter round is $1 a foot. And that's usually small, right? Like inch by inch or something, and it's rounded off. Yeah, I was thinking baseboard could easily run you $7 to $9 per foot. That's, you know, if you got, like what I have is white ash, which is a nice straight grain lumber. It's just really, really good for things like molding, because it shouldn't have a lot of movement once you make it. I guess we'll see. I feel like I'm in too deep at this point to not make my own molding, because I have all that lumber sitting in the barn. I could probably make the kids a wicked nice playhouse if I didn't end up using it. But I mean, for me, even if it was, I guess, more expensive to make your own molding, maybe it's worth it, because you know, you're making it whatever you want. It's more, I guess, custom. And in the end, you end up with like a ton of shop tools that will keep me busy forever and ever and ever. Yeah, make my own playhouse. This whole house will be my playhouse, right? When I'm done. If I ever get done. I was watching some old videos last night. Every now and then I'll get a comment on an old video and I'll start binge watching my own videos. And I can't even believe how far we've come in 2 years. Like 2 years ago, this time of year, October, the whole house was basically rough framed and that's it. Plumbing, electrical, nothing was done. The bathrooms weren't done. You know, nothing. It was... And so 2 years, a lot has happened. Oh yeah, Sarah, Lily and Jace would love a fancy playhouse with molding. In fact, they're razzing me about getting a playhouse, and I'll be honest, I'm hesitant, because usually what happens is, you know, you get the kids the playhouse, you build it all for them, and then they play in it 3-4 weeks, and then they're done. The only thing that makes me think that my kids won't do that is that my kids... They wanted something to play like a playhouse, so I built them this boat. And, you know, it looks pretty cool, but inside of it is a sand pit. And aren't my kids getting older? I don't know. Jace is 6, Lily is 8, and Elspeth is 2. I don't think they're too old for a playhouse, if that's what you're saying. But yeah, so Jace will play in the sand pit boat thing that I made him almost every day in the summertime, which is amazing. My kids are really good about playing outside. Okay, so I guess the first thing I wanted to talk about was making molding versus buying molding, and you've helped me with that, so thank you. I needed some encouragement on that. Next thing I wanted to bring up is, if you can tell, don't those sheetrocking lines look a little thicker than what you're used to? And notice the screw holes are all covered. Well, that could only mean one thing. The sheetrock has started in the downstairs. I've been really patient with these guys because, hey Peter, really patient because, you know, they're roofers actually. And they do sheetrock also, obviously. And, you know, they just, you know, they want to get some roofs done before winter hits. And I understand that. And I said, no problem, you know, and so they've stopped in now two different times. And they've done two coats, maybe 3 coats technically. And I just had to pick up one more jug of the mud. This is the finishing mud, they called it. And I think they're going to come here tomorrow. So that means, if everything goes to their plan, sheetrock downstairs will be done. And, you know, I might break from the windows. I'm just trying to show you I might try to break from the window work and prime the downstairs. I think that'd be kind of cool. It's going to look maybe more finished in the sense that it'll be all white and primed. I think you're supposed to prime sheetrock maybe as soon as you can, because when it's just the paper, it can take moisture on maybe a little easier. So yeah, we'll probably get that primed, and then it'll be forever before I paint. But yeah, so that was exciting. So what have we talked about? We sold the shaper, we sold the trailer, we're buying different tools. Making molding is overwhelming. Sheetrock is on its way. Do you want to see what I've been doing for the last couple days? I can take you down cellar. Take you down to the basement. As I just made a weird voice right there. So, the weird skits and stuff from the last video, I don't really know why. I mean, that is my personality. I know that I dial myself back quite a bit for YouTube sometimes because I think that I would come off as fairly obnoxious, especially if I drank a lot of coffee. But yeah, those skits are fun. But you got to be careful and keep me in check because I'll do that all the time if I think that too many people are enjoying it. Let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what I've been up to down here. Okay, I guess I'll start. Let me get my coffee. Coffee's important. Yeah, thanks, Desiree. The skits were a lot of fun, to be honest. Lots of fun. Here's a couple windowsills. I do not put sugar in my coffee, Jan. I just do cream. Oh, it would take more than a house renovation to get Sarah and I to divorce each other, I think. So, this one right here has been a trial. I can't really show you too much because it's one-handed. It's sanded. I've put this windowsill together and then had to cut it apart to glue it back together. I've done that twice because I keep basically running into issues. And then this is kind of more or less what they look like when you first put the boards together. You know, because my windowsills are slanted, you can kind of get away with a 40-inch board back here, and it has to go all the way up to 5 foot. And then when you go to cut that angle, then it all works. This is really, really cool lumber, guys. I don't even know if I realized how cool this lumber is. It's 1.5 inch thick, tongue and groove, and it was the floor of the house. I'd like to say it was the original floor, but I'd have no way to know that. It's really cool color, gray, and I'll tell you right now, the color's translating quite well on the screen as it is in person. So that is exactly what it looks like. And I guess what's so cool about it, I'll show you some pieces over here. This is 2 more that I've got cleaned up and ready to go for windowsills. Let me see if I can find a piece. This is a poor example. Let me get a better one. Yeah, this one's good. Let me walk over there and show you. As I said, these boards were I guess I should call it the first layer of wood on top of my original beams, right? So what you can see here is where people chiseled away this board a little bit, so then the floor was flatter. It didn't, it might have humped at the beam, so they chiseled this all by hand and then put the board down. And here's the next one. And then the next one's over there. So isn't that pretty sweet? Now, I don't know. That doesn't mean that it's original just because it was the first layer. I mean, this house is so old that it's very possible that it's been through multiple huge renovations. I have to make 12 windows. Someone just asked that. I think 12 windowsills total. But I just, if someone majorly demoed the house, got to the beams, and then they put this stuff down as a subfloor, I mean, that's what somebody did. Yeah, I don't know if they can make tongue and groove in 1806, so that's what made me think that it's not original. Which is really cool that you can see the tight grain pattern. The stuff is old lumber. So if you can't do tongue and groove in 1806, or if you did, it would be very hard to do. We don't live anywhere near a city or something like that. I don't know who. I'm sure there was lots of mills around here. Then this might have been from a renovation maybe in the early 1900s. How many hours have I spent building? In a video a while back, I did figure that out. And you could probably figure it out too, because you just think I'm pretty true to only working weekends. So you know, say 4 years. We've owned the house for basically 4 years exactly. So if you just did like, it's like 4 or 5 hours a day per day for just the weekends and figured that out, that would give you a good rough guesstimate of how much I've worked here. I have taken off a couple weeks on end though and worked 4 or 5 hours a day every day for those weeks on end, like if I took a vacation or something. But then I've also taken some days off. So it probably would all equal out. And it's not as much as you think to totally, completely renovate a whole house. I'm getting so good. I'm getting so good at ducking that pipe. I did smack my face on it really hard the other day, but I'm getting better at it. Yeah, I was thinking Tongue and Groove was around 1885. I feel like somebody has shared that with me. More than one person has shared that with me. I know. Mike, I can just, it's like a sixth sense I have now to like miss my head on the beam and miss my head on that pipe. I'm gonna miss that pipe when it's gone. I really will. The last windowsill, 1898 Tongue and Groove. I don't know. I think they had it before that. Maybe not. Because all you really need to do it is a rabbiting plane, and you could make it by hand if you really wanted to. So the Tongue and Groove machine might be 1898, but they had it before that. This is the very last windowsill that I had to frame out. You can see how, sorry about the noise, you can see how deep it is. That's a full 2x4 in there. 2,800 hours. If you divide that by 40, that would give you work weeks. So what's 2,800 divided by 40? I could probably almost do that in my head. Is that 40? 400? I can't do that in my head, not right now. Shouldn't ever do math on live YouTube. It's a rule. So this turned out pretty good. As much as everybody told me not to fuss with the windows, I still, 70? Yeah, so 70 work weeks. That's not bad. I don't know. That seems high. I had to do 1/2-inch plywood on this side, but like if you can tell, like I don't know how easy it is to tell on video, but you're looking at this reveal, this dark thing right here between the wood and the window, and how consistent that is. That means you've got it pretty good. So when you go to put your wood and your trim up, it should look pretty good. So there you go. I just brought you into the life of a quasi-OCD person, the weird lines that you see. And yeah, so Mallard5 there, if everybody can see his name, I believe he's uploading a video right now, and I'm excited to see it. He's doing a renovation of his living room, which, you know, I think he's been doing the renovation, right, CJ, for a while, but you're finally going to put a video out. I never throw my tape measure because usually I set it down and lose it before I can chuck it somewhere. I think my toilet got a little bit of wiggle to it. No, that's just the seat. Oh man, so what else could we talk about? Yeah, I'm excited to see your video, CJ. If it uploads during this live chat, I'm going to have to leave the live chat and watch it. I kind of am, but I'm not using the toilet as one would normally use a toilet. I'm just simply using it as a seat right now. You want to know something funny? A company offered to send us a bidet. I don't think I shared that with anybody yet, but we'll see if that comes through. Can you talk in another room, not the can? I don't know. It's one of the nicest rooms that we have done. I don't have a ton of chairs. Shouldn't really make you feel that uncomfortable. My real job, I work for the U.S. federal government. What else was... Oh, let's show you this. This is really cool. I know, yeah, she was joking. This is something I've been waiting for a long time to get, mudded over. He's doing a really good job because this is a really difficult spot for anybody that's ever tried to do sheetrock before. I mean, this is crazy. Like, look at this. This is crazy. But he's doing it. Whoa, geez, that would have been funny. Yeah, I'm excited. I always think old houses need to have weird, quirky things like that, right? Like weird angles and little nooky things. You finally made it, Gene, and I'm just about ready to leave. I'm just kidding. I still have coffee left. I am going to be painting soon, yes. In fact, if they finish the sheetrock tomorrow, which they might, it's possible, I'll probably prime the downstairs next weekend, I bet you. Because though I haven't made it very far with my windowsills, I think I'm ready for a break. It's very frustrating. Like I said, for anybody that missed the beginning, the very first one I made, I've had to cut apart and then glue back together 2 times. Where can I set you? Where can I set you? And then we'll do some questions or something. Or just hang out. Oh, I'm glad that you think I'm organized, CJ, because it's not. From the Philippines, wow. You might be the first person I've seen from the Philippines. So yeah, what's going on in everybody's life? Let's chat. Let's, what do you want? Someone want to see something with the house? You got some weird question about the house that I can answer in a live rant? I feel like we're getting close, even though I know that we're not. It would be really close if I was just going to use simple square-edged baseboard and stuff like that. Plans for the exterior. That's a good question. The exterior of the stone will stay stone forever and ever and ever. I'll never do anything different than the stone. The exterior of the non-stone side of the house, I'm considering taking the wood off so then I can house wrap the house and then put new wood back on. But it will always be wood. I don't think that I'm gonna, well, no, I know that I'm never gonna put vinyl or anything like that on the house. I don't care if people do put vinyl. I have vinyl on my other house. But this house won't have vinyl. It's gonna have wood. But I don't know the details, anything more than that. You probably didn't even expect that long of an answer. See what can happen if I get some Dunkin' Donuts in me? I will start the apartment side as soon as we are moved into the stone side. And I probably finish the work in my other house. So that the trick will be, I move in here, we all move in here, and then I'll do some work on my other house to get it ready to sell. And then once we sell that, then I'll probably start the other side of the house, something like that. No plan yet really for the kitchen over there, Odin, because I think we need to see the space and get familiar with the space before we can make plans. I've only really been on that other side of the house like 7 or 8 times at this point. Videos of fixing up my other house? Probably not, but I guess it just depends. That house is an old mid-1800s house. It's not nearly as cool as this house, so I don't know if I'll share it or not, honestly. And it's going to be a different type of renovation. I am not going to go to great lengths to customize that place. It's going to be not cob jobbed, but it's going to be put together very quickly and just but keep it to where if somebody wants to buy it, they can still see like a vision for themselves. It's very much a fixer-upper home. It's not something that we're expecting to get very much for. I only paid $25,000 for our other house, and then we bought that in 2007, and then we fixed it up quite a bit from there, but it's still considered a fixer-upper. If I've missed any questions, I apologize. You can. Sometimes it helps if you put them all in caps, as long as you're not, yelling at me. The caps, yeah, there you go. How far? Our other house is 10 minutes from this house. And yeah, our other house is technically in a town. It's a very small town, like literally one stop sign, one store, very small. And then the stone house, I don't have any neighbors. There's a tiny house across the road, which I could hit with a golf ball, but there's no other real neighbors. No time frame, Kelly, as far as getting into the stone house. Nope. We are kind of just working on it and taking our time and trying to do it right. So when we move in, there's nothing that we wish we would have done different or nothing that we feel like we need to change. Everybody asks this. No ghost stories. Sorry. We always talk about ghosts during live feeds. I should do a video on it, to be honest, because I think it's interesting to a lot of people. But I always say the same thing. I'm pretty consistent. I don't believe in ghosts. So and it's fine if you do. I don't think that you're crazy, and I would hope that you don't think I'm crazy, because I don't. But I don't believe in ghosts. So if I'm working in the house at night, right, a scary time, and something down in the basement makes a noise, I'm gonna assume that it's a spider, because we have huge spiders, or a mouse, or just my organization down there falling. My head never goes to a ghost. So hopefully that answers that. A tinted paint, prime your drywall with a tinted paint. Is there a benefit to that? I don't know. We usually just use, I think we use Bullseye 123 primer. I like that primer. Seems like a good primer. Yeah, well, my dad, which is not the type of person to believe in ghosts, he grew up in a very, very, very cool house. And they said that it was haunted. He would say that it was haunted. And the minute my grandma and grandpa, my grandpa that's 93, he owned that house. The minute they removed the bookshelf, there was a library in the house, and they were all old books, but they moved them, and then all the things that were happening stopped happening. But they have some pretty good ghost stories that I won't get into. And my dad's not the type of person to say that unless it happened, but he also was very young, and I think young minds are pretty impressionable. But fireplace, not in this house. No way. I think, okay, we should talk about that. Ooh, that could be a dangerous subject. Jennifer, you're trying to get me in trouble with these people on Instagram and stuff. Let's talk about fireplaces. This is not a rant. I think I need to start off by saying, you do with your house with what you please, right? You do whatever you want to your house. It's your house. If I moved into this house and it had a fireplace, well then, yes, it would still have a fireplace. I'm not about removing fireplaces, but I see it far too often. I'm sorry for anybody who does this. It's not attacking you. But if you have an old house or whatever and it doesn't have a fireplace, and then you go put one of those mantles, a fireplace mantle, and it's not a real fireplace, but it looks like a fireplace, I'm sorry, I don't get that at all. And I think it's because I grew up burning wood in my family home. We've cut 40 cord of wood every year for keeping us warm for years, right? I still burn wood in my other house now. I just got done cutting wood just the other day. And so for me, a fireplace is only a source of heat. It's not ever been about ambiance. So when I see someone put like a fake fireplace mantle thing, it's like, I just don't get it. But it's your house, so if you like the way they look, do it. That's fine. But I'm not going to understand it. Oh, coal fire's cool. Coal's tough to get around here, or else I probably would have done that in the other house. No, it's okay, Jennifer. I'm okay. That's one of the few things that get me. Yeah, I'm trying to read the chat a little bit too, but it's going quickly. Yeah, the molding equipment that I'm buying, the molder, definitely can make picture frames. In fact, I think a lot of types of molding is actually called picture frame molding, and I don't know if that's true or not necessarily, but I feel like molding that goes next to your windows, it's all like, 2 to 3 inch molding, and it could easily be used for picture frames also. You probably just need to cut a rabbet in it or something. New furniture when we move in, probably not. We don't own a lot of furniture now. We're not decorators. I'm a firm believer in having what you need only. And when you have kids, when you have 3 young kids, you don't decorate because they just break your stuff. They throw stuff in your house and it breaks. So we'll probably have some art on the wall, maybe, if I really like it. But for me, I think, I want the structural stuff in the house to be the art. Molding will be my art. So yeah, and then as far as furniture goes, we'll have a couch. I don't think it will be anything special. I think Sarah wants to buy some wooden benches, stuff like that, wooden chairs, and have placed different places and everything, but we're not huge decorators. And I don't know, maybe it's just a me thing, and that could change. And it's funny because I got a barn full of stuff, but I have that because I don't know what I'm going to use yet in the house, so you just kind of, but when we looked at this house, when it was for sale and we walked through it, the people that we bought it from, they were decorators. They had a huge clock in every room. They had multiple tables and stuff on the tables. And, I don't even know what some of these furniture things are called. Like banquet things that have doors, full. Just the house was full of stuff. And it took them 2 months to move because of it. And I don't know. Maybe they got it all through parents passing away or something. But yeah, I'm less is more, right? I missed that last one. Sorry. Credenza. Yeah, there you go. See, if you don't know what a credenza is, well then you shouldn't have one in your house. And all that could change, I'll be honest. And it might change as my kids get older. If I can put a nice piece of furniture in here and then not have them destroy it. I bought a really nice chair for myself, a leather chair for my computer, and my cat destroyed it in 2 days. So I'm I'm never buying one of them again, Thanks, Joy. Thanks for watching. Teens probably destroy furniture too. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's not even about that. It's just, we're just not really the type of people. I wouldn't call us minimalists per se, but I'm more about having less stuff than more stuff. As I say that though, I have a lot of stuff right now, I feel like. But again, it all just kind of builds up as we're doing this house renovation. I hold me to it and trust me when I say, when we're done with this house and we're living here, we will go through that barn and we will get rid of everything that we're not using. Yeah, functionalist. I like that. I like that a lot. If it doesn't have a function to me, then it's not sticking around. And Sarah's different for some stuff. She does hold on to things, I guess. Yeah, it sounds like kids break a lot of things. Man. Right now they're just breaking our hearts when they're mean to us. It's so hard when you're 8-year-old or you're 6-year-old, when they're 8 and they're 6 and they're like, not getting their way about something, and you're being that firm parent to be like, you're not doing this. And then they like, you don't even love me. It's like, what? It's farthest from the truth. That restoring old furniture is something that I think I might actually get into. And I've got some stuff in the barn that I might experiment with. I would like that very much. Like, you buy like a semi-old dresser and then maybe could put like a really cool like maple top on it or something like that. Kind of change it, make it your own. I don't know what that's called. Repurposing? Maybe? I don't know. I could see myself doing that for sure. Not necessarily to keep it, maybe to sell stuff. I got to find a reason to use all these tools when the house is done. Otherwise, I'll probably sell them. Yeah, refurbished. Yeah. Mike, I'm pretty impressed with the wood shop that I have now. Like, when I go down there, I'm like, man, this is nice. Got like all these tools, and some of them I don't even know what they are and what they do. Sarah and I, we sat there, this was yesterday, looking at the bandsaw, and I was like, I don't even know what you would do with this thing. And and we're laughing. And I'm like, it cuts wood. I mean, like, but everything like you could think of like to cut with the bandsaw, I feel like I could cut on my chop saw or my table saw just as good. So I don't know. Maybe it will find a place, the bandsaw. Because I think that reason why we were talking about that is I was thinking about selling the bandsaw also. Because I was like, I haven't used it, and it's set up, plugged in, and I just don't use it. The bandsaw, yeah, Mike. The bandsaw to me is a scary tool too. It's just a spinning blade. It's like what they use to cut meat, right? At a butcher's shop. It's just like a big spinning blade. So I don't know. I've heard that a bandsaw is one of the safest tools in the shop because you can't really get kickback from it. Like a table saw, you've seen it in some of my videos, if you pinch stuff just right, it kicks the wood back at you. Where a bandsaw, I guess, can't do that. So that's cool. That saved my gut. Well, I guess maybe I'm running out of things. Yeah, cutting curves is like the obvious thing to do with it, I think, but it's like that just doesn't come up very much for what I'm doing now. It might come up as you have a shop and you're tinkering with making stuff and you need to cut curves. Yeah, cutting thinner boards or thick boards into thinner boards. That's the only thing I could come up with that bandsaw is good for. That's a good point. Which is, I think it's called resawing, which is pretty sweet because then I could, take one of those old pieces of tamarack that were used for my roof rafters, and I could cut it in 1-inch boards and then, joint them together and have a piece of wood you could actually do something with. So yeah, you might have just talked me into keeping the bandsaw because that is awesome. Yeah, they do. Crinkle. Kids are, man. If you saw in Wabi Sabi's last video, they're pregnant. And I think that's so cool because, they're going to be great parents. And I would never tell anybody that wants to have kids, don't have kids. But I'll tell you, kids are tough. And I think it's just the pressure maybe that you put on yourself as a parent. You want to give your kid everything in the world, but you can't. Because if you give your kid everything, I don't think that's a great lesson for them to learn as they grow up. So you want your kids to earn things and work for them. And kids don't want to do that. They just want. So it's an interesting thing, raising children, I must say. No, not all children are like that, but I think children in general, I mean, humans probably are like that. I think it's how you raise them, right? So like my kids right now, they're interesting stage where Lily and Jace, like, they know that, like, if Jace wants a violin for Christmas, I'm not gonna just run out and buy him a violin, like, just because he said he wanted one. He kind of needs to not work for it per se, but I think he knows that he needs to, like, I don't know, lack of a better phrase, I guess, deserve it. Because everything's not going to be just handed to you in life. And I think those are the kinds of things that you need to kind of instill in your children at a young age. Otherwise, I think it gets out of hand. I think it can get out of hand. At least I've met some grown-ups where it gets out of hand. And I was never raised that way, and I don't necessarily want to raise my kids that way either, where you just get whatever you want. You know, when I was a kid, I remember what I did, or not what I did, but what my parents did, is if I did the dishes, you get 5 pennies in your penny jar. And if you vacuumed, you'd get 2 pennies, because vacuuming is fun, but dishes suck and nobody wants to do them. So then once you get 100 pennies, then you might get something. You know, you might get a movie, or you might get $10, whatever. And that's what my parents did. And believe me, I liked that system. I would work all day long just to, vacuuming is fun. I would work all day to get my pennies. Sometimes my sisters would have a hard time finding a job to do. How big is the lot property at the Stone House? It's about 4 acres. See you later, Jennifer. Thanks for stopping in and chatting. This chat here, this video, will probably not be left on the channel for long. This is, you know, sometimes I'll leave a live up if I feel like it's worthy, but this really was just about stopping in and saying hi to everybody. I really wanted to talk to everybody earlier, mostly because I was having a really bad day, and I was like, you know, if I go live on YouTube, I will feel better in 5 minutes, and it's true. I was cutting up these windowsills, and man. I was off work, Larry. That's what I first talked about when I first signed on this live chat here, is that I woke up this morning, same as always, logged onto my computer, and I was working right away, and I went to go chat with some people, and I was like, why is nobody else online? I was like, what is going on? And then I texted somebody I work with, and they're like, yeah, dude, it's Columbus Day. Like, we don't have to work. So, you know, I wish I could say that's the first time I've done that, but it's not. One time when we were all working in the office, you know, before the COVID thing, I actually got up, got ready, and drove to work on a holiday. One of my less proud moments, probably. The clawfoot bathtub, that's a good question, because Sarah and I were just talking about that. We were walking around the house kind of talking about molding and stuff. The clawfoot, I believe, is going to go in our master bathroom on the other side of the house. We've decided, like, we like it. We like it enough to where we want to keep it. We got a really good deal on it. And, you know, the bathtub for our master bath, it won't be something that we use all the time because it will have a shower. Just like the kids' bathroom, it'll have a separate bathtub and a shower. But if we're going to take a bath, I bet you taking a bath in that bathtub would be pretty cool. You know, I set the phone down and I do so good for a while, and then I start walking or pacing all over the place. So yeah, it's in really good shape. Like, this does not have to be restored at all. I'll probably sand that purple color off. But the inside is actually in really, really good shape. And it's huge. It's bigger than your average clawfoot. I'd say it's 6.5 foot, but I could be making that up. I don't think I'm making that up. I think it's a big one. Like, I can lay in that and fit easily. Yeah, she thought I was crazy, Anne, because, I mean, I don't dance a ton. I'm not really a dancing kind of person, but Lily had fun with that in the video. I did another skit, I'll be honest, I did another skit for this next video, and it's funny. I think it's funny, but I'm telling Sarah, I'm like, I don't know if I should do another skit so soon, because then, like, I don't want people to think that I'm like really losing it. But it is funny. The kids, I showed them the skit. It's like 2 minutes long, and they watched it 5 times and laughed louder every single time. Build something. I missed that chat a little bit. I think you talked about the built-in a little bit. I can show you that if that's what you're asked. I'll show you real quick. I actually have it too. The skits are fun, I tell you. And you know what it's about? Let me come back for a second. The skit, this is what it's about. It's not me necessarily trying to be a goofball. It's just, I edit a video every week, and it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I like it, obviously, or else I wouldn't do it. But sometimes, like when I'm working on just windowsills, weekend after weekend after weekend, it gets old and boring, and the angles are all the same. And so doing the skit, really, for me, it's fun for me. So this is where the built-in will be. It's about 55 inches wide, which is, somebody can convert that probably to the other measurement method. But 55 inches, it's 8 foot because the ceilings are 8 foot, and it's about 2 foot deep. And we're thinking about something that looks like this. And it would go in there, floor to ceiling, if I can get that to work. Something like that. Each one of these doors and cupboards, they do something different. This is not a finalized idea. I think Sarah has some ideas of her own. This is something I came up with. So there you go. And this is what we're going to build with that Patreon money. So if I know I sound like a salesman when I say it, but if you're a Patreon follower, then what we're going to do is on the inside of one of these doors up here, we're going to wood burn all the Patreon followers' names into it. And then this is going to get molded right into the house. It's going to be a built-in, The built-in, well, I can talk you through it, actually. I'll set this down so we can... Sorry, I'm moving quickly. Okay, so let's say we go with this, because this is really close to what we're going to do. This right here is going to be a trash, and it's going to be kind of a cool door that opens like down. It's hard to explain, but it's going to come out and down at the same time. And then like a trash can will be able to go right in there. These will be some larger, shallow shelves where you can put like paintbrushes and different things like that. And really kind of have them spread out so you can see them. So it'll be like for crafting. Smaller drawers. I kind of just liked this. It will be, yeah. It will come out like a flower bin. That's exactly what it will be like. Some smaller drawers for stuff, obviously. Then this, I kind of want this to pull out, and then you'll have slots on the side where you can put like filing cabinet kind of thing, like that. And then open shelves in the middle, and then 2 big shelves on the side. And these will not be glass because we kind of, sometimes we have clutter with, in this type of situation, when you've got a thing like this, if you had glass doors, I think it would look like clutter before it looked cool. You've missed a lot, Nicholas. You've missed a lot. We just announced that we're selling the stone house, and we're going to move to the city because I got a new job. And so this is goodbye. This is going to be the last upload that I do. And you missed it. New York City, that's right. Doug and Ashley are moving too. They were announcing that, and we're going to all move in this big house together and have a massively... I just saw that Doug and Ashley were here. Sorry if I missed the chat. Hey. Hi, guys. Doug and Ashley hit 100,000 followers. And I would say it's amazing. I would say all these things, but come on, it's obvious. Is anybody surprised that Doug and Ashley hit 100,000 subscribers? I know that as a YouTuber, They've been doing it for a long time too. In fact, I don't really know how long. I feel like it's been 4 years, maybe longer. You can tell me, Doug and Ashley. I think it's 4 or 5 years. But they upload so much and so consistently, and every single one of their videos is a watchable, good video. Yeah, 4.5 years. And that's hard to do. That's impressive. So many channels, kind of, I don't want to be, it might be rude, I guess, but they kind of just peter out. You know, they change, or they run out of content, or they get sick of uploading. YouTube is not for that type of person. Like, I mean, Doug and Ashley, maybe you can even, I would love to know, when you started uploading, like, how long did it take you to hit 1,000 subscribers? It's interesting to me. I don't try to get caught up in YouTube and the analytics of stuff, because I think a YouTuber can drive themselves crazy when you are YouTubing and you feel like you're trying to make it, you know, and then your channel's just not growing. Like, I have a lot of YouTubers, small channels, that contact me, and they ask me kind of like, how have I done it or something? And it's like, you know, I uploaded for 1.5 years before I even had 1,000 subscribers. And so you need to upload, and you need to put, yeah, it takes a while. That's the thing. It's like my sister and her husband that have a YouTube channel, Open Gate Farmstead. I'll plug them. They act like they expected it to be quick, you know, and I'm like, nah, man, it's not quick at all. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. If your goal is to grow your channel to a point where 100,000 subscribers, like, that is probably the hardest thing that I've ever come across in my short life. So it's impressive. And but I can tell you, Doug and Ashley, don't get lazy now that you're this big YouTube channel. Don't be going and changing your style. I was watching a channel, I don't know the name of it, but I was watching a channel, and they were getting big quickly, and you could see it in their eyes. You know, they're starting to buy excavators, and they're like, you know, they're building a house, and their YouTube channel is blowing up. And then they got to a certain point, you know, and they started doing Pure Living for Life. There you go, Odin. And I'm not being, I like their channel, but something happened. The negative comments got to them, and you could see it. They started doing videos where they're trying to explain themselves to every person and justify everything they do, and they couldn't take the negativity. And so now they upload and they have comments turned off. And I just was thinking, like, well, why would you even YouTube at that point? Like, I mean, I get it, they make a lot of money, so maybe that's why. But if you're not interested in the comments, like, I always commented on their videos, like, oh, I really like what you did there, and like, geez, that's such a cool thing that you, and Jesse, one of them for that video for Pure Living, he is wicked cool. The way he explains things, it's so in detailed, and I loved it. And now it's like you can't even comment, and I think that's sad. That they are so upset by some commenters that they won't allow other people to comment. But I'm not judging them, and I'm not telling them how they should run their channel, because that's their channel. They have earned that right to do whatever they want. But me personally, the day that I feel like I need to turn comments off is the day where I just don't upload anymore, because that's the point for me. Like, geez. Like I said, yeah, comments are the best. And you guys, Doug and Ashley, like, you guys answer, I think you always heart my comments or answer my comments. So that's amazing. I know how much time that takes, because you guys get way more comments than our channel. And you answer a lot of your comments. And that is a full-time job. So that's amazing. I take my hat off to you guys, because to keep up with that sort of thing, that's really challenging. I mean, I personally, I get on and like a video's new and I'm getting like a lot of comments in the beginning, and I read them all. I usually read them all. I don't usually comment right away. And then I'll go back like maybe a day later and start commenting on as many as I can until I just basically run out of steam. That's how it works. And then, you know, I don't want to say I've got my favorites, but I have a lot of people out there that I just know your picture and I know your name. A lot of them, I might even know your story a bit. And if I see a comment from a person like that, I have to comment back, because you're more than just a subscriber. You know, a lot of you have been following me since, you know, maybe before I even had like 50 or 100 subscribers, and they comment, like you guys comment like every week, and that's just awesome. So you're more like my friend than anything, even though you might not want to be my friend, but you're my friend because I say so. Yeah, Chris, you were way up there. Yes, Kendra, you have been, but you know, you're kind of family, so does that count? I mean, yeah, I know a lot of people don't comment. I don't know, I put a video out one time about comments, and a lot of people said like, I watch on my TV, so I can't really comment, and we understand that. I don't expect, you know, I watch, what's it called? Is it called My Little Homestead? I watch a family called My Little Homestead, and they put out a weekly video, a lot like my channel, I guess, where they're very consistent. It's Friday, weekly video. And I noticed, like, I love their channel, and I look for their video. It comes on like Friday, usually about 10 o'clock at night. I look for it. And if I don't watch it at night, then I watch it first thing Saturday morning. I watch it, I get my coffee, and I watch and I noticed I don't comment very much. And I was like, that's so weird of me to not comment, because I always watch on my phone, so it'd be easy for me to comment. So I'm starting to comment more, because it's like, they're a big channel, so they don't probably even see my comment, but I still do. I like following their family. They're a really interesting family. They live out west. I think they live in Arizona. I don't know. I think I missed. You guys might be having a little bit of a conversation amongst yourselves, because I was like, can't answer that question. No, having a lot of comments is not annoying by any means. I think when your channel gets to the point where you can't answer all your comments, I imagine that's a sad day, but a happy day at the same time, because that just means you're probably a big channel. Yeah, I think that's normal though. I don't know if it's Doug or Ashley or both, so I don't want to say Doug or Ashley, but I think it's normal to not comment, to be honest with you. I mean, if you just look at it, if our video has 10,000 views and 400 comments, well, that tells you it's more likely not to comment. I think comments are good for the algorithm. Someone just said that, but I think watch time is the most important metrics of the algorithm, is your watch time. But I don't, you know, like I said, I don't really follow it too much. I can tell you that before, I cared too much about it. I cared way too much about it, and it starts impeding, like, your video, right? And I'm not sitting here, I'm not Casey Neistat, I'm not trying to create this, like, beautiful piece of art with every single one of my uploads, but I started editing down my videos, down and down and down, trying to get to like 8 to 10 minutes, because I felt like more people would watch an 8 to 10 minute long video. So I'm editing a lot of my talking down. I'm editing a lot of my details down. And then it got to where I'm like, you know, I should just upload the video how I think it should be uploaded, to like get my point across and show what I'm doing, and not care about watch times. Hence the weird skits in the last video. I never would have done that back in the day when I first started YouTube, because I would have been scared to. I think that's funny. that you say that my talking is the best part, because I feel like such a rambler. And that's the only mean comment that I get every now and then, is people are like, you talk too much, you know, zip it. More worky, less talky. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm all about that. I mean, I think there's a lot of authentic channels out there. In fact, I think more channels are authentic than not. I think it's easy to tell when someone's not being authentic, maybe. But YouTube is one of those things, I'll tell you, it takes up so much of your time that unless you're doing it for the right reasons, you're not going to do it for long, because it's like a lifestyle. I can only speak for myself, but like, you know, big channel like Doug and Ashley, I'll use you as an example because you're here and I like you guys, and maybe you'll even tell me, but if I see your chat, I'll probably miss it. But like when you're a YouTuber and you're uploading, it's like, I don't know, like I think about YouTube in almost every aspect of my life. Not only like, oh, what planer do I want to get? And I get on YouTube and I watch a ton of videos. But I just think about everything with YouTube. It's weird. I hate to say that it controls my like every thought, but like I really think it controls a lot of how I think. I don't know. It's hard to explain, I think. I hope I'm not coming off as weird, but it's... Yeah, Doug and Ashley do a great job of talking. They explain what they're doing so easily. And I look at it from maybe a little different point of view too, because I'm YouTubing my stuff. And I'm like, Doug can throw out like a 2-liner. It makes perfect sense. And then he does the work and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then I sit here and I'll do something very similar. And I'm like, why can't I just be more like Doug? Why can't I just... Oh man, it's funny. I didn't even realize we had over 300 people watching. I think that might be a new record. It's a lot. Yeah, that's understandable about not commenting. Yeah, I think so. I'm glad that you say that, Doug and Ashley, because I didn't want to be like the only one. But yeah, it's funny. I don't know if you guys are the same way. I bet you are. If I'm doing something, I'm like, ooh, should I be recording this? And it's like, well, I kind of just want to get it done. I'm like, ooh, but this is pretty interesting. And then you just like, you're always thinking like, maybe I should get my camera, because I bet you, especially when like certain subscribers come in your head and you're like, ooh, you know, so-and-so is going to want to see this, because they love when I use salvage material. They always comment that they love it when I use salvage material and they would want to see this. And I do that all the time. Someone just said something about negativity and how it shouldn't get to you or something, I think. I kind of missed the whole comment because they're popping on the screen quickly. But I can speak for myself. I don't let the negative stuff get to me. I think it's mostly because I was picked on really heavily in... no, I'm just kidding. I mean, my school was so small, you couldn't pick on people because you would see them, you know, every hour. You know, my class was 50 people, so we all got along. I can say that all through high school, all through middle school, all through everything, there was never one fight that I can remember with my class. It just didn't happen. We didn't have cliques. We all got along, and I think that's just small town USA right there. But I don't even know where I was going with that. It's about getting picked on. Oh, negativity. Sorry. Yeah, I don't let the negative comments get to me too much, honestly. Very rarely do we get anything that's like super negative, to be honest. I think either you're into what we're doing or you're not. If I do something wrong and someone points it out, that's not a negative comment. That's just someone that knows a lot more than me telling me that I did something incorrectly. Telling me that I talk too much, I mean, my family members tell me that, so I can't get upset about that because you're probably right. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's really easy to be defensive. In fact, I've played the game before. Maybe we can play the game. I wish I could look at my comments right now. That'd be a lot of fun to look at the last video's comments. You can read almost any comment if you want to, negatively, if you read it with the right tone. And I'll tell you, it's kind of a fun game that I do sometimes with Sarah. Because someone could be saying like the nicest thing, like, I love what you did with the ceiling, and you can just read it like, oh, I love what you did with the ceiling. I don't know. That's just a weird thing that Sarah and I do. Yeah, I don't get a lot of negative stuff. Oh, yeah. Wow, that really turned out great. Oh, oh man. Your entire school was 50 people. Anna, I don't think Amish people are supposed to be on the internet. Just so you know, you better get the cows in and get off that computer. Very small school I'm from. Yeah, I liked that. That's incredible that your entire school could be 50 people. But, there's obviously lots of parts of the world that I've never been to. A gas-powered computer, well, then it would be okay. If it was a diesel-powered, horse-drawn computer. What time is it? Does anybody know? Eastern? I can't see on my... I just left to get sheetrock mud, and I stopped at the house with a coffee, and I decided to go live, and then it's turned into this. 6:30? I probably better go. Someone said 6:34, and someone else said 6:24. I'm thinking 34 was a typo. Otherwise, your clock is... That's good. Oh, Australia. I'm glad that you just commented there. Yesterday on Instagram, I caught a huge wolf spider in the basement, a big one. And I've been chasing it for a while, trying to catch it. And I finally did. I got it in a jar and I took it down the road and it tried to kill me. But anyways, from that Instagram post, I have learned that Australia is the most dangerous place to live, to be killed by something, basically. Like, all of their snakes, are poisonous, and their spiders are poisonous, and then they have shark problems, and even, this destroyed my whole thought of Australia, but someone showed me a video, and a koala bear attacked somebody, and I'm like, koala bears are, the cutest little things. And, what else did they show me? Oh, the types of spiders. Not only that they're poisonous, they're massive. And then I think they still have, tribes of people that live in, the forest that haven't even been found yet. And if you find them, it usually doesn't end very good for you. Pretty sure that happens. I could be making that one up. Or I got it from a movie. So, the movie Crocodile Dundee? Everybody thinks it's a joke, right? Oh, they're not like that. I think people from Australia are like that. I think they walk around with big knives because they have to be able to protect themselves from the koala bears. And that is mind-blowing for me. So though the spider I caught, it was a big spider. Don't downplay my wolf spider, Australia. But the wolf spider's not poisonous. In fact, I don't think we have any poisonous spiders in upstate New York. It gets too cold. They all die. Koala Mafia. That's a t-shirt if I've ever seen one. Wow. A cute koala bear with a machine gun. Koala Bear Mafia. Yeah, so no snakes. No poisonous snakes. The snakes we find around here, you pick up you pick up and you show your kids and you let them hold them. And then I'm trying to think like anything that we have that's scary. And I'll tell you, we've got some cougars. They're rare, but they don't really go after you. We have some black bear, lots of bears actually in the area right now. Like people are seeing bears all over the place, but a black bear, man, they run from you. No, I don't think we have black widows this far north. And if we do, I've never seen one. So that leads me to believe that they're not here. Yeah, so really just nothing. You know, the only thing we need to be scared of is like the locals that like drink too much at one of the bars and then like drives around at night. Like that is the most dangerous thing in upstate New York. That and like eating too much fast food. Yeah, I mean, I like that we don't have poisonous things. The people in Australia, you know, I was chatting with them for a while on Instagram, and it's like they're telling me how, like, you know, you go outside and like you literally have to look around because a rattlesnake could just get you, or like they had names for all the snakes. One of them is like bites you and you're dead in 30 seconds, and I'm like, what? I mean, I get it. Australia, beautiful place, but I'd have to wear like stilts if I was there. Brown recluse, that does sound familiar, but I really don't think they're this far north. Can I do my upstate New York thing here? A lot of people will comment, right? I'm from upstate New York too. I'm from upstate New York. And I'm like, oh yeah, whereabouts? And they say, like Buffalo. And I'm sorry, I'm not picking on any particular person, but Buffalo is not. Well, you know what? Maybe Buffalo is considered upstate New York. See, what we do around here, we say that we're from northern New York. And that's more accurate. We're so far north, I literally, like, if I could get on my roof, I think I could see Canada. Like, I'm really north. But when people are like, I'm upstate New York, and then they're, you know, basically from, you know, a county that's just like just north of New York City. What constitute? Yeah, I know. I think what they think upstate New York, if you, is anything north of the city, which I'm going to disagree with. Doug and Ashley, we're going at it now. So this is my thing. This is why I don't think anything north of the city should be called upstate New York. You know why? Because isn't there a central New York? Like there is something called central New York. So I feel like central New York, well, should be central. It's like central New York. And then you have the city, which we'll call, I guess, southern New York, even though it sounds stupid when you say it out loud. But northern New York really should be probably anything north of Syracuse. Because Syracuse is pretty north. I'm hours from Syracuse. I mean, Syracuse is the city. When I go to Syracuse for work and I stay in one of them fancy hotels that gives you those little bars of soap and like a warm cookie, I am seriously like the Beverly Hillbillies, like staying in the city. Like, oh my, look at they give you warm towels to put on your face. Like, what is that about? City people, what's up with your warm towels? Southern tier, okay, so Elmira, yeah, Binghamton, yeah, okay, I know that you would consider yourself living in upstate New York, and I don't want to get in a fight with you right now, but to me, that's pretty central, right? That's like central of the state. But we don't need to get into it, because that's a sensitive topic, and I know it is. And I don't know why, other than maybe it's like a cool thing, like a badge on your shoulder. Yeah, Western New York, thank you, it is. Yeah, like a badge, like I'm from upstate New York. I don't know why, it's not cool to live here, it's kind of boring. Do people ever think you live in New York City when you say, you know who does that, and it very consistently? Sarah's parents, they haven't done it for a while, but they get foreign exchange students. And if you like, I think when you tell them that you're from New York, they automatically assumed New York City. They didn't know there was any other parts to New York. It's just one big city. And I will say, not proudly, but I will say that I have never been to New York City. The closest I got, I went to New Jersey once. Sarah was pretty big into cheerleading, and she went to a cheerleading competition that was at some park in New Jersey. It was near the ocean. It had a fancy name to it. Maybe Mike, if he's still on, he can tell me. It was kind of run down, to be honest with you. It needed a lot of work, but we were there for a cheerleading competition. And at some point, we took a wrong turn. Because, you know, we're from upstate New York, and we're driving on these highways with our, you know, vehicles and stuff. We took a wrong turn, and we were going towards the city, and I could see it. Like, I could see the buildings. And I gotta be honest, like, my heart started thumping because I thought that we were gonna have to go into the city and then turn around, because it seemed like the road that we were on, we weren't gonna be able to get off of. It was scary. And we didn't. We were able to get off on an exit and go back, you know. But that's the closest I've ever been to New York City. I'm not against going to New York City. I'm sure it would be great fun spending $55 on a cheeseburger or whatever. But New York City is New Jersey. Are those fighting words for city people? Probably. I bet you Mike G is he's gonna time you out now as a monitor. You went to the Bronx. I've been to a city. You know, I was gonna put this in my video, so I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but I'll ruin it for everybody. I was gonna do a segment where I voice over like a little bit about myself because I feel like we don't really know each other, and I was gonna talk over a portion of my working of just something about me that most of you probably don't know. So I lived in California for 2 weeks. And I moved out there with a friend, and we were about 45 minutes north of San Diego. I believe the city or town or whatever was called Vista, California. And I was going to go to the San Diego Golf Academy to become a teaching pro for like, you know, you'd be like the guy managing a golf course and teaching people how to play golf, basically. Golf was one of my huge, still is, unfortunately, but I don't have time for it, but a passion of mine, like specifically like the golf swing even. Like, I feel like even if you've never played golf before, if I take you golfing, I'm very confident here. I feel like I could get you to hit the golf ball. Like, I'm not going to turn you into Tiger Woods in like an hour, but I'm good at it. I'm good at breaking down the golf swing and then someone's physical capabilities to make a golf swing. So I was going to talk about that. I still might talk about that. So that will be very boring for you 317 people out there. But yeah, that's, you know what got me to come home too? Other than culture shock, and it was scary for me to be where we were in the city of California. Like, it was, man, things just moved too quickly for me. But what got me to come home is kind of my family. Not really. It was Sarah. That's right about when we started dating again. Because we dated in high school for a very short time and didn't really break up, but we broke up. And then we got back together right about that time that I was all set to move to California. And I think there was a lot of reasons that I came home, but she was one of the main ones, because I knew that, like, we were getting back together. We were doing the long distance relationship thing, which we would have been able to do fine, because she really wanted me to go to this golf school, because that's what my passion was. That's what I wanted to do, and she wanted to support me with that. But in the end, a lot of things happened. Like, I signed a lease with this place, and they kept my deposit, they kept my first month's rent. They kept everything. So that was a big loss for me, I guess. But at the same time, I don't regret my decision of coming home because, you know, I guess I came home. Sarah and I were obviously dating. She was going to college. So then I was like, you know, I'm going to go back to college because at the time I only had my associate's degree. So I was like, I'll go back to college. I'll go to the same college she's going to. I'll get my bachelor's. And then her and I, we graduated at the same time with our bachelor's. And then, you know, we obviously got married. It's all history from there. But yeah, so I guess I did live in the city for a little while. I lived in the big city for 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody maybe has a place that they can call home. And you always say, like, nothing's like home, and it is. This is my home. Not the physical place where I am, but I could go to the local store here down the road, and I probably would know everybody that's in that store. Either because I work with someone that they know, or because I've ran into them before. And that to me is home. I couldn't imagine living in a place where you just see new people every single day. Do you think you'll always live in New York? I do. I do, and it's not a great state to reside in. You know, like it's known as one of the worst taxed states. It's very strict with, well, I can't say strict because we're doing it, but homeschooling stuff. It's not super simple. Not a lot going for it as far as upstate New York goes. You know, like a good job is hard to find. A lot of people have drug problems or drinking problems because there's not a lot going on. Like we have one movie theater in our area, right? There's a golf course. Trying to think of things for entertainment, right? There's not a lot of things. So a lot of people hunt. A lot of people do like the outdoors thing. You know, I don't. I mean, I used to hunt all the time and hike and things like that. But, you know, it's not, maybe it's just because I don't have time. I don't really do that a lot now. Yeah, this is home for us. Like Sarah and I, we feel the same exact way. The idea of moving is something that we've never discussed. In fact, I think I've said it before, even where if I was offered a good job in another state, I don't think I would take it. I mean, ever since owning the restaurant that we owned, I pretty much said to myself, like, I would never work for a paycheck. And I think a lot of people do, and that's okay. You know, like you bust your butt at a job that you dislike because it provides for you and your family, and that's very honorable. But me personally, like, I'll never do anything for just a paycheck. Maybe it's a luxury to be able to say that. I don't know. Probably something that I take for granted. But I like my job. I got a job, actually, right out of college. I got a job at one of those rent-a-center places. And, you know, before you joke about it, it was like a managing position. You could make, I think, mid-50s, which in upstate New York, that's a lot. Like, average household income, I know this because I deal with it with my job. Average household income for my town is $38,000 a year. That's for the household. Average household income, $38,000. So I got that job at Rent-A-Center right out of college. It had the potential of making like $50,000, $55,000 a year. But after doing that job for 2 days, I sat down with the current manager, the one training me, and I said, I can't do it, man. He's like, what do you mean? You know, this is after getting hired and going through the process. You know, like 40 people applied for the position because they're hard to find. And I was like, just can't do it. You know, and he was talking about the job. And I was like, it's not about the job. The job's fine. You know, that I can do the job. It's more about the coworkers. Like, they're all like super negative, like hard to work with people. And they didn't respect the manager at all. And I was like, I'm just not going to be happy here, you know? And it was just like, I'm just not going to do it. And so I quit. And it's the only thing I think that I've ever quit at other than Boy Scouts, where like I remember quitting. It's like not doing it. And so yeah, that's one of my mottos for life is if you can get away with it, at least, is don't do something just because, you know, you make money at it. You have to enjoy. Life is short, and life can be like prematurely short. You know, a lot of people get sick, and they don't last very long. You know, and you know you're not promised tomorrow. You're not promised 80 years of life. So you need to enjoy what you're doing. You need to enjoy the people that you're around. Otherwise, you know, you're gonna end up regretting things. This talk is getting really deep. I think I better go. Not only because my coffee's almost gone, or because it's almost getting dark, or because I'm talking about weird things. But yeah, it is getting deep. It's getting too deep. Oh man, I gotta go. Above all, I gotta go and help put Jace to sleep. I told Sarah that I was gonna go live, so she knew, but she probably didn't know I was gonna be here until now. So yeah, I'm not gonna leave this one up on the channel because this is only for you special people out there that saw me live and clicked and hung out. I always have a bad habit of leaving this light on. Oh, I don't even know what light switch does what. Pfft. It's not like I built the place. So, maybe if you're all still looking for something to watch, I think CJ Mallard 5 Farmhouse, his video is gonna hit today about 8 o'clock from what I understand. So you can check out his channel if you haven't already. It's a family that we've been following. He's one of my moderators for chat. He's a friend of mine that I've met through YouTube. And it's gonna get dark in here. You guys wanna go down into the basement? See if we see a ghost? I could flip the camera around. Make a new coffee. It's one, I need a coffee maker in the house. That would be spectacular. Let's try to, no, I won't. I was gonna try to show you what it looks like from the outside of the house, looking in at night, because I love it. But I know that it will lose reception the minute I walk outside. But that's it. Thanks for, you guys don't know this, but you cheered me up. I had a hard day. Don't feel bad for me, but I had a hard day. These windowsills, ugh. And so, talking with everybody, I knew, see you later, Doug and Ashley. Thanks for stopping in. I really appreciate it because I know you guys are busy, but I really, really appreciate you guys stopping in and saying hi. Yeah, I was down in the dumps, man. I wasn't like throwing stuff out my window, but I was upset, and I knew going live would just make me feel so much happier. So I'll get working on that video, and maybe I'll do another funny thing, another funny spoof. Like I said, I did shoot one. I just don't know if it's gonna make. Oh, you know what I did? I left my coffee inside. There's not very much left, but that's like leaving liquid gold. And if you leave it for too long, I'm gonna use you guys for a second. Leave it for too long and then it turns into liquid poop. Here we go. Sorry, coffee. Almost left you. So anyways, thanks for keeping me company. Letting me talk your face off. And I'll see you guys all later. Next video.